Today we will be focusing on the SDG number 5 of gender equality by Jody, Grace, Sam, Anna, Valentina, and Daniel. UNDP has made gender equality central to its work, and we have seen remarkable progress in the past 20 years. There are more girls in schools now compared to 15 years ago. Most religions have reached a gender parity in primary education. One of their most recent statements says, "Ending all discrimination against women and girls is not only a basic human right, but also crucial for a sustainable future. It's proven that empowering women and girls helps economic growth and development." As it is stated, ending discrimination against women and girls is not only a basic human right, but also crucial for a sustainable future, because women and girls represent half of the world's population and therefore half of the world's potential. Female empowerment can boost the social and economic development of the globe. Our workforce could add percentages to the economic growth rates of the nation, but despite all of this, we still have prevalence of inequality. For instance, women earn 77 cents for every dollar that a man gets for the exact same work. 35% of women have experienced physical and sexual violence, and women represent just 13% of agricultural landholders.
The prevalence of gender inequality is also seen in the high presence of child brides, gender parity in primary education, and lack of representation in high government positions. It is stated that nearly 750 million women and girls were married before their 18th birthday. When women are child brides, this typically means education stops and sexual harassment continues. A woman's purpose should not be to find a husband who will provide for her. She should have equal opportunities to men and not be forced to rely on a man for her well-being. It is also stated that 2/3 of developing countries have achieved gender parity in primary education. Gender parity addresses the equal opportunities between men and women. 2/3 is a hopeful statistic, but that means there is still a significant proportion of the global population where girls do not have access to primary education. In addition, 24% of national parliamentarians were women as of November 2018. This is an increase of 11.3% compared to the lack of representation in 1995. While this shows improvement, it is a small step towards equality. 24% is less than a quarter of a governing body when women make up around half the world. This is especially significant because women are working up and fighting to advocate on behalf of their demographic, whereas men are working from a place where they historically have had pre-existing credibility and influence. Women understand the systemic barriers relevant to their country and have experience fighting them. We need more women in power so they can help disable these barriers for a more equal and mutually beneficial future.
So as stated on a previous slide, women around the world face many issues when it comes to gender equality. However, those issues are nowhere as relevant as they are in the country of Afghanistan, and I am going to detail some of those issues in the next couple of slides. For example, as stated here, in Afghanistan, women on average earn about 16 cents to a man's dollar. This is nowhere close to it is in many developed countries. For example, I believe in America it is supposedly women earn somewhere between 75 and 80 cents to a man's dollar. Now this is far from perfect, but compared to Afghanistan, it is much, much better. Women basically do not earn any money on the jobs that they actually do. That is, if they even have high-paying jobs at all. As you see, women only occupy about 4% of management positions in Afghanistan, which is upwards of around 40% in America, and only about 5% of business owners in Afghanistan are women, which is much higher in developed countries. I'm not sure what it is in America, and I don't know these statistics in Colombia, but Comparatively, Afghanistan is very, very much on the low end. I believe it's 169th on the list of women in management positions around the world for countries compared to, I think, of 189 countries that they were able to get data on, which is awful. And there is very little that these women can even do since they only occupy about a quarter of government positions in Afghanistan, and that is rarely, if at all, enough to be able to um, do anything about these issues, especially now that the Taliban has taken over. That number will probably drop even lower. So, women helping themselves in Afghanistan is very, very hard for them because of these issues. Another major issue in the country of Afghanistan for women is violence. And this can be either physical violence or sexual violence, but around half of all the women there will experience some kind of violence in their lifetime. It is truly, truly awful. And as stated before, that puts Afghanistan in total gender equality 169th out of 189, which is very, very, very low. And for economic gender equality, they're 156, which isn't much better. And as I stated before, that is the main reason why women don't have very many management positions, government positions, own small businesses, or make very much money. Their entire economic and social system is very patriarchal. It is not geared to helping women, if at all. Uh, and one of the biggest things that suffer is, of course, education, which is what we decided to do our report on. This is what our main issue that we are focusing on when it comes to the country of Afghanistan. And one of my partners will detail that in the next slide.
So, among the Taliban's most systematic and destructive abuses against women was the denial of education. Before the Taliban came to power in 1996, Afghanistan's education system had already been severely damaged during the country's armed conflicts in 1980s and 1990s. During their 5-year rule, the Taliban prohibited almost all education for girls and women. So, when Taliban rule collapsed in late 2001, the new government and the countries that have joined the US-led coalition faced two critical challenges. How to reestablish an education system for half the school-age population, and how to help girls and women who had been kept from getting an education during Taliban rule catch up on what they had been deprived. Statistics on the number of children in and out of school in Afghanistan vary a lot, and this was the most reliable information we found. 3.5 million children are out of school, and just 85% of them are girls. Only 37% of adolescent girls are literate, compared to 66% of adolescent boys. 6:10 ratio of girls to boys are in school in 2017. Female literacy is 53% total, and just 37% are school-age girls. Also, during the Taliban rule, the Taliban banned mixed-gender schools, and only 16% of Afghanistan schools are women-only.
Now we think as a team different ways to help from so far away in this problem that although it does not affect us directly, it should be up to all of us. And we come to the conclusion that one of the best alternatives is through organizations that have a direct contact with the victims and are a connection between us and all the Afghan women that are asking for education. Organizations such as Fair Afghanistan, that is dedicated to the advancement of young Afghan women. It has a global online platform for professionals around the world to support Afghan women in security, peace, foreign policy, and education. They already have 15 projects helping more than 10,000 families training 7,000 women, and having more than 4,000 team members. There are many ways to help, but among the most prominent are those of sharing useful education documents, providing lectures of 15 minutes videos, share fellowship and scholarship opportunities, among others. Another organization is Femina, that supports women human rights defenders, their organization, and feminist movements through analysis of trends and policy, documentation, fostering development of regional communities of practice and advocacy. They try to support Afghan women to leave the territory and to be safe. The best way to help is donating money or supplies in order to get food and protected places. They also work in Iran, Libya, Palestine, and Turkey.
So, like those examples, there are plenty of organizations that are helping Afghan women. Another way of supporting those organizations is to make the problem and the organization more visible, so we can promote and carry out campaigns in order to sensitize people and make them aware of the problem so we can all contribute. To summarize, first, we can donate to the organization mentioned above or donate money to some other NGOs. Second, we can promote and encourage those donations. And the last one, the third way to help is to raise funds for more humanitarian visas. So our idea is that through campaigns and publication on different virtual platforms, we will create awareness in people about the problem. Also will be the bridge that connects the donors and the collaborators with the organizations. And finally, we will have some women allies in Afghanistan who will help us to supervise that the donations are being properly delivered. Our main communication channel will be Instagram. There we are going to post everything. We are going to be like a kind of a newscast because we will be posting things such as their current situation, how are we helping, and how is it progressing. We are going to post everything regarding the situation in Afghanistan, especially about this particular issue.
We want to achieve gender equality in Afghanistan. It has been stated that women earn less money, have few positions to earn money, and nearly half report experiencing some form of violence. In addition, women and girls are often excluded from education in Afghanistan. We can combat that by donating to pre-existing organizations, fighting for change, and raising awareness of the situation. Contact us and we will help you understand how you can help. Our sources come from the United Nations Development Goals, the Global Citizen, Afghan Aid, Human Rights Watch, Her Afghanistan, and Femina. Thank you for listening and thank you for your help.